back at San Antonio, I had promised Dean as a joke that I would get him a girl. It was a bet and a challenge. As I pulled up the car at the gas station near Sunny's, Georgia, a kid came across the road and with tattered feet, carrying an enormous windshield shade, and wanted to know if I'd buy you like some 60 peso. Habla español, señorita peso. My name is Victor. Nay, I said jokingly. Bye, señorita. Sure, sure, he cried exceedingly. I get you girls, anytime. Too hot, not now. He added with distaste. No good girls when hot day. Wait tonight. You like shade? I don't want the shade, but I wanted the girls. I woke up, Dean. Hey man, I told you in Texas I'd get you a girl. Alright. Stretch your bones and wake up, boy. We've got girls waiting for us. What? He cried, leaping up haggard. Where? That boy Victor's going to show us where. Well, let's go. Dean leaped up out of the car and clasped Victor's hand. There was a group of other boys hanging around the station and grinning. Half of them barefoot, all wearing floppy straw hats. Man, said Dean to me, ain't this a nice way to spend an afternoon? It's so much cooler than Denver pool halls. Victor, you got girls. Where? ¿Adonde? He cried in Spanish. Dig that, Saul. I'm speaking Spanish. Ask him if we can get any tea. Hey kid, you got marijuana? The kid nodded gravely. Show, anytime, man. Come with me. He, hoo, wee, hoo, hoo, yelled Dean. He was wide awake and jumping up and down in the drowsy Mexican street. Let's all go. I was passing Lucky Strikes on with the other boys. They were getting great pleasure out of us, especially Dean. They turned to one another with cupped hands and rattled off comments about the mad American cat. Dig them, Saul, talking about us and digging. Oh my goodness, what a world. Victor got in the car with us, and we lurched off. Stan Shepard had been sleeping soundly and woke up to this madness. We drove way out to the desert on the other side of town and turned on a rowdy dirt road that made the car bounce as never before. Up ahead was Victor's house. It sat on the edge of cactus flats overtopped by a few trees. An adobe cracker box with a few men lounging around in the yard. Who that? Cried Dean, all excited. Those my brothers, my mother there too, my sister too. That my family, I married, I live downtown. What about your mother? Dean flinched. What'd she say about marijuana? Oh, she got it for me. And as we waited in the car, Victor got out, looped over to the house and said a few words to an old lady who promptly turned and went to the garden and back and began gathering dry fronds of marijuana and that had been pulled off the plants and left to dry in the desert sun. Meanwhile, Victor's brothers grinned from under a tree. They were coming over to meet us, but it would take a while for them to get up and walk over. Victor came back grinning sweetly. Man, said Dean, that Victor is the sweetest, gonest, fanciest little bagtail cat I've ever seen in my life. Just look at him. Look how cool his slow walk is. There's no need to hurry around here. A steady, incident desert breeze blew in the car. It was very hot. You see how hot? Said Victor, sitting down with Dean in the front seat and pointing up at the burning roof of the Ford. You have marijuana, and it was no hot for no more. You wait. Yes, said Dean, adjusting the dark shades. I wait for sure, Victor. I'm bored. Presently, Victor's tall brother came ambling along and some weed piled out on a page of newspaper. He dumped it on Victor's lap and leaned casually on the door on the car and nodded and smiled to us and said, hello. Dean nodded and smiled pleasantly at him. Nobody talked. It was fine. Dean proceeded to roll the biggest bomber anyone had ever seen. He rolled using brown paper bag. what amounted to a tremendous Corona cigar of tea. It was huge. Dean stared at it, pop-eyed. He lit it and passed it around. To drag on this thing was like leaning over a chimney and inhaling. It blew into your throat, and in one great blast of heat, we held our breath and let out all just about simultaneously. Instantly, we were all high. This sweat froze on our foreheads, and it was suddenly like the beach of Acapulco. I looked out the back window of the car, and another of the strangest of Victor's brothers, a tall Peruvian of an Indian, and a sash over his shoulder, leaned grinning on a post, too bashful to come up and shake hands. It seemed the car was surrounded by brothers, for another one appeared on Dean's side. The strangest things happened. Everybody became high, and the usual formalities were dispensed with, and the things of immediate interest were concentrated on. And now it was the strangest of Americans and Mexicans blasting together on a desert. And more than that, the strangeness of seeing in close proximity the faces and pores of skins and glosses of fingers and general abashed cheekbones of another world. So the Indian brothers began talking about us in low voices and commenting. You saw them look and size and compare. Mutualities of impression were correct and modified. Yeah. Well, Dean and Stan and I commented on in English. Well, you DIG, that weird big brother in the lack that haven't moved from that post and hasn't been by one cut hair, diminished the intensity of the glad, funny bashfulness of his smile. And the one to my left here, older, more sure of himself, but sad, like hung up, like a bum, even maybe in town. Well, Victor is respectably married. He's like a goddamn Egyptian king that you see. These guys are real cats. Ain't never seen anything like it. And they're talking and wondering about us, like you see, like we are but different in of our own. Their interest probably revolving around how we dress. Some of ours really, but the strangeness of the things we have in the car and the strange ways that we laugh, so different from them, and maybe even the way we smell compared to them. Nevertheless, I give them my eyes, my tooth, to know what they're saying about us. And Dean tried. Hey Victor, man, what did your brother just say then? Victor turned mournful, high brown eyes on Dean. Yeah, no, you didn't understand my question. What are you boys talking about? Oh, said Victor, that great. Oh, you know, like this marijuana. Oh yeah, yes, fine. What are you talking about? Talk? Yes, we talk. How you like Mexico? It was hard to come around without a common language, and everybody grew quiet and cool and high again, and just enjoyed the breeze in the desert and mused separate national and racial and personal high eternity thoughts.